when I had this convention, I went and talked to this guy, and it was like, this guy's a Bitcoin billionaire. And I was like, billionaire? All right. So I went over there and I was like, I showed him my crypto. I was like, hey man, like, let's talk about crypto, because I'm into crypto. So I have coins here and there. And he looks at all my stuff and he goes, well, there's only 3 of them that actually have a utility behind it. And he said, you don't have XRP? And I was like, yeah, I had it before, but I saw it go up and down, and then the SEC went after it and shut it down in the United States, and everybody went back. And I was like, that's actually a good thing. If the SEC is going after it, it's showing that it's actually something. Because it's not going to go after like a Dogecoin that really isn't anything. It's going to go after things that it's going to say, no, that should be an actual security. So it's saying, oh, I'm giving you some validity behind it. That's just that's what it is. Okay, so it got taken off, but then it beat it and it stayed on. This guy was like, and he was really calm with it. He goes, yeah, he should sell your house, sell your car, sell your dog. If you're married, sell your
all
wife,
in, right?
sell everything, you put all of it into it. So I was like, damn, I don't want to do this. But so I was like, all right, I'm gonna put in $10,000. And then I was like, man, this guy, I want to believe him. I put 10, 15, 20.
No, man.
And then I went in and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put a big investment in. So I put 50,000 in. Put 50,000 in.
How much did you put into the Haktua coin?
Haktua.
I ain't touching that, bro.
I've been spending time in the dojo, doing all the things that they won't show. No spotlights on me, no photos, becoming the king on the low level.
We left off talking about investments. Like, you're in the real estate. I've got a couple places in real estate. You're not really, right?
I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah,
I have some money we're sitting on that we want to invest properly, and we've been stuck because everybody is very all in on their particular investment. For example, I'll talk to my crypto bros. Bro, you got to go all in. Like, then you talk to some people that are old school that are like, hey, real estate, man. Real estate's where it's at. It's still the thing. And then I talked to some other guys who are like, nah, put it in the market. And the market's been strong.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with tech and the S&P. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So no one's ever really come at me with like a combination of it all. It's usually one way, all in on this particular industry.
No, you want to
let's hear it.
diversify.
Bobby
for
is
sure.
a savvy investor.
I'm not saying I'm a savvy investor. All I'm saying is that I made enough mistakes to at least go in the right direction in certain cases. And what I've learned when I first got into it, it was real estate all the way. And I've stayed the course of real estate so long because real estate to me, it feels safe because there's tangible. Like I can see it.
Yep.
And I can put someone in there, and like over the course of time, things are going to go up. Like the house that you have right now, if you would have checked 5 years ago, it was a whole different price.
Yeah.
The house that I bought, it went up. Everything that I've ever bought in real estate has gone up. I've never had a bad investment with real estate. You can, of course you can, because things can happen. But over time, I don't think that you can. But then when I came down here to Texas, man, I get calls about different investments like almost every day. It's life insurance over here. It's oil and gas over here. It's houses over here. It's all these different things. So this is what I've done. And by no means am I telling you this is what to do, but this is what I've done. Of course, investing in the stock market is your security. It's safe. Over time, it's always going to go up. You know, it just is. If you invest in large cap funds, it's over time it's gonna slowly go up. It may not take those big jumps, but it's always gonna go up. So I've invested in some different accounts where I can actually borrow from it. And the way that it's set up, one of the guys has it set up. It's I put money in, I can borrow from it, and because of the dividends actually pay the for the money that I've borrowed. So it's almost like I'm getting free money, almost like that. So it stays here, it continues to make money. I borrow from it to buy different things, and then if I do pay it back, of course, those dividends go onto that principal, and it just keeps going up. So that's one way. So I have that as my security.
I have a question. Real estate, it's mostly residential?
I have residential.
Commercial?
Well, commercial is basically apartments, so I have a few apartment buildings. But I say just start anywhere. For me, I have a bunch of just houses, and I had them all over the place. And right now, since I'm in Texas and there's so much going on in Texas, I've been trying to sell all those different houses and then bring all the money here and then to buy more in Texas, because there's a lot of places that they're fixing, they're gentrifying. So if you get into some of those areas and then you can get something there, you can at least get to them. Like I have a house, apartment complex in Birmingham, Alabama. Man, getting out there, I got to fly out there from time to time, becomes a nightmare. And then I have Ohio, Missouri, Kansas, Colorado. So that's all the places that I was living before. So I just kind of started buying houses there. And then when I was in WWE, I was searching different areas. And whenever I would go with different shows, if I had some time off, I would go and check that area and kind of meet with a real estate agent and see how the market was. And if the market was good, then I'd look to buy something there and I'd pick up things. So, but for me, since I was still working and I'm still making money, I wasn't trying to flip. I think flips were challenging these days. So I was just trying to get something that I could just put somebody in and then I just rent it out. And for me, since I was making money, I was buying it all cash and then I was renting it out. So I didn't have to pay back a mortgage or anything like that. Yeah. And then later on, I was like, okay, I want to get some money out. So I would mortgage a property, pull money out. And that way I still make even just a little bit off of it every month. And I just keep those properties.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I shouldn't say I'm stuck. We're doing okay, but it's like all my stuff's literally in real estate. Like we still own the house in California, have another house here, got a house in Idaho. And it's just like, I don't know, just kind of everything they're all paying for themselves. There's a little bit of profit on every one, but it's, the reason why we're not willing to get rid of it, we'll never get rates that low again.
Right.
So it really is almost like free money when the rate's like 2.675, 3.25. Like you're never going to get that.
Where's it at now? Is it still about 6 or 7?
Yeah, I think it's a little over. Yeah, it's about 6. Yeah, it's a little over 6, I think. It's been fluctuating from 5.85, I think, to 6.2, 6.25.
Yeah, we had it good back then, huh?
It's never going to get that low.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so I'm like our house in California. You all right over there, Peter?
I'm good. It's just that little cough is cut.
Yeah. You want to just get it all out now? There you go. But we just, Peter's over here dying on us and we're talking.
Yeah, we got him.
But no, like our house in California, I think it's at like 2.675. Like I can't sell. We can't sell that. Like forever, that will generate a decent amount of money, coming in. I mean, that kind of pays for our houses here.
Yeah.
So, and then the other house that we have one community over from where we live now, I mean, that one there is doing well. We rented it out to a corporate company, so they paid 2 years up front.
Oh, yeah.
And so they've had their people come in and stay there. So we're hoping that company will continue to use us after these people move out, if they need more people to come in here.
Real estate's great. I think something you mentioned, Bobby, is looking at new markets, because I do feel like, we all know this area here, North Dallas, North Texas is growing. It's blowing up, right? Everywhere we go, there's new construction everywhere. But I feel like it's too late. You know what I mean? Like, where's the next area that's booming and emerging? Because I feel like the prices here have just gone up so much that you're not ahead. And I'm trying to be ahead as far as, well, just really everything, right? That's what I think the core of an investment is being early on something that's going to grow. And I feel like real estate around here is just
it doesn't
too
scare,
much.
It's not that it scares me. The fact that you said that you're going to sell some of your stuff in other states and then bring it here. The only reason why I'm opposed to that is we have the house over there, plus we have this one that we're in, is the one that's in one community over, is the property tax here. It gets you. And so if you have an investment property and it's not a homestead, it's almost not worth having an investment property here. So we literally, like on this one, I mean, it's jumped a lot since we bought it, because we bought it first before we bought this one. And it's doubled in price, which is great. And we're still paying tax on what we pretty much bought it for, but that's not the point. The point is the property tax is still very high here.
Yeah.
And because it's not a homestead, like you can't classify as homestead because you don't live in it.
Homestead exemption.
The homestead exemption helps you a lot. And so that's the only problem that I have with having investment properties. Now, I don't know what it's like to have commercial. So I've got a buddy that does commercial here. I've been meeting to meet up with him and chat with him about it, because I'm kind of willing to sell that one there, even though it's at a low rate. I think at 3.25 or a little less than that, to sell that one and try and roll into some sort of commercial that you can, because then it becomes a business.
Yep.
And I heard that Texas is a lot better when you own commercial properties because they give you better tax breaks.
Yep.
But I haven't done enough research into it yet, and everyone I've talked to said that it's different based on what they're doing now here in this area. So I don't know. Plus, we live in an area where like Prosper, Salina, Frisco, they're more developing, so the taxes are a little bit higher right now in the property tax.
Yeah, to pay for all the growth.
Yeah, to pay for all the growth, and then until more houses get built, which means more and more houses get built, more people pay into it, so that lowers it down. But right now, there's not a big enough town. Like Frisco just became a city, right?
Yeah, we were going over.
Yeah,
that.
we were going over this. Yeah, it
Just
actually
became a
had,
city over the last few years. Commercial real estate is something I've been curious about. I've had people in my ears saying, "Hey, man, that's really the way to go."
Yeah.
If you can get land like a really strong anchor tenant, like one of these big chain,
Like a
they'll
Whole
sign a
Foods
10-year.
or- yeah.
They'll sign a 10-year lease.
30.
Yeah, even more. Like it's almost like a minimum of 10. Even if it's like an auto parts store or these various businesses that are very stable, right? And if they're a big name national franchise or chain, and you land them, you're like, hey, I'm good, and you build out a couple of maybe a little bit local businesses around it, and you got that building, like you're good for.
No, my
for a
wife,
while.
like she does commercial property development, and all the properties that they own, they've had either like Home Depot, Best Buys, Safeways or something. They always have an anchor tenant, a Sprouts, and then they build around it. There's always like a Chipotle, or there's always something.
And then some local,
some local
businesses,
stuff,
right?
couple local, but it's you always have one or two franchises that are in there that hold everything together. And then you put in some local businesses, and then you'll have like maybe a Chick-fil-A at the front or some sort of Wendy's or something at the front that gets the people's attention. But those are 30, like that anchor tenant will always be at least a 15, like a 15-year, especially if it's like a Safeway or Home Depot and Best Buys. Those are 30-year leases.
Yeah.
So, and once you can show that you're generating enough money and revenue, then you can turn around and sell it for triple the profit. Like let's say they did a project in Calabasas, and the project, I think it cost them 11 or 12 million to build out. And within literally like 6 years, they sold it for 98 million. That's a pretty nice.
Well, I guess we're talking about what's your risk tolerance. What are you trying to put in? Because when I first started investing, I was buying $50,000 houses.
Same was I, and I was buying them cash. So I wasn't buying houses; I was buying duplexes, and I actually believe that's the better model. And the reason why I believe it's the better model is because it's recession proof.
Right. Yeah.
Like where I'm at right now, like my house in California is pretty much almost paid off. That's more recession proof because I don't have a big mortgage on it. It's, I keep a mortgage on it because you can write the interest off in your taxes. Right. But the house here that I have, it's not homestead, so I pay more in property tax, and it's like that's a big nut. If someone moves out, I've got to pay that mortgage. That's kind of a decent sized nut. If I could roll that into basically just sell it, 1031 exchange it into like a duplex. So now you're only splitting the rent versus if my rent there is $4,000 and if now I buy a duplex and now I have $2,000 and $2,000. If someone moves out, I'm only out $2,000 out of one side of the duplex versus being out the $4,000 in one, a whole house. So you need to invest in things that are recession proof.
But you have apartments, you said,
Yes.
right? So
The one apartment that I'm working on right now, I think it's a great investment. Yeah, I went down in Birmingham and I found it. And what it was this guy was selling it. And he had most of the people that were in there were like church friends. So he wasn't charging them anything. They were all 2-bedroom apartments. They were nice. Well, actually, they could be nice. So when I saw it, the building itself was a brick building. It was a great building. It had 8 units in it. And he was renting it out for like, oh, just give me 400, 500 here.
Bobby going to come
whatever.
in there and raise the rents to
Yeah.
$1,000,
Yeah.
$1,200.
I was like, whoa. So
all these people are going to be homeless now. Bobby, come in.
get all this stuff, get out. No, but what I went in there and I checked out what the market rates were, and what the problem was these people had all kinds of issues. They were like, this isn't working, and this wasn't working, this wasn't working. So I didn't go in there and start just booting people out, but I went in there and said, hey, we'd like to come in here and we want to make some changes. I want to
Fix it
start
up
renovating
again.
these
Yeah.
apartments. And then for some of them, I said, you know what? Some of these people qualify for Section 8. So they were paying $400 or $500, and then we started renovating the apartment. So I was putting money into them. I'm renovating all of those. And then we started getting them on Section 8. So now I always try to do like a 1% rule. Whatever the value of the place is, I want 1%. So I bought this place for $320,000.
You're a better man than me.
8-unit place. So ultimately, I want $3,200 a month. So that's very easy. Out of those, it's 400. So he was already doing those numbers based on what I bought it for. When I went in there and started renovating it and we started working with Section 8, Section 8 for those places paid $1,200
Yeah.
a month.
Wow.
So when we started renting them, now we're working with Section 8. So now if I think to just go in here and fix all the places up and then rent them out, and then if you rent them out, say we get $1,200 for all of them, it's 8 units, 1,200 times 8, it's 9,600. Based on the 1% rule, that place isn't worth $320,000. That place is worth $960,000. So that's the money, and that's what a lot of people do with some of these C-class units. Is they go in there, renovate them, get Section 8 in there, and then from Section 8, now the value of it shoots up. So now when I sell it to somebody, I'm saying, hey man, this place is making almost $10,000 a month. Then now the price goes way up. So now you have a place that's completely renovated. Because that's one thing with me. I grew up in a house that was garbage. I mean, nothing worked in it. I mean, we didn't even have hot water. I'd rather walk around with my shoes on than walk on the carpet because the carpet was disgusting. The floor was disgusting. So when I go to houses, even though I'm buying these houses at $50,000, man, I'm new flooring, new paint, new everything. Every one of them
Bobby's
are
a good
completely new.
slumlord.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
what you do is
I can show you every one of my places. They all look basically similar because I use the plank flooring that they get from Home Depot, and then it doesn't take much to just make everything nice. So paint everything. Everything's new.
So they were happy to see you
Yeah, so I fix
come
them
in
up
and make these improvements, get
and
the government involved and help make it all work, right?
Yeah, and some of them I worked with because like there was one lady that was in one of the apartments. Her place was it was run down. She was paying $650, and she saw me renovate the one downstairs, and we were going to rent it for $1,100 to Section 8, and she was like, "Can I move it down to that one?" And I said, "Well, I can move it down. I'm not going to give you the $1,100." I said, Would you be interested in doing an $850 because you're getting a brand new apartment?" She was like, "Deal done." So moved her down there.
Yep.
So I don't have to go for the highest price, but even to move everything out to $850, it's going to change the whole value of that place, and then you go look to sell it. So I do that all the time. Every one of my places, I keep them. I rent them out for a while, and then either what I was trying to do before. There's so many young kids that I wrestle with that are making big money, and they want to get into the business, but they don't know how, or they don't want to go through the process. I've already gone through the process, so I can just go and say, "Hey, look, I'll sell you this house over here. I bought it for $100,000. I put 20 into it, so I own it for 120. I have it rented out for $1,300 a month. So I'll sell it to you for 130. So I'm giving you the 1% rule." But I've already rented this place out for 2 years. So I've already made my money off of this, plus a little bit more. So I can go ahead and turn it over to them and then go ahead and 1031 that into a different property. So that's all I'm doing is I'm making money and renovating them so they don't have to go through the deal. They get a ready-made place with a tenant in there. It's all set up. Everything's good.
I made my most money doing the duplexes in Fresno, but the couple things that you have to remember is when you go to look at the place, don't look at it as if you're ever going to live there. That was the hard part. Like my wife's like, I don't want to buy this place. Like it's like I was like, we're not living here.
It's not for us.
I go, yeah, it's not for us. Like we'll put new windows in, we'll put a new fridge in, we'll take the sink out. Like just expect to spend $5,000.
Yes.
I said, especially when you first get it, expect maybe $5,000 to $7,000. But you're putting everything that's cheap in there, but still looks good. You're putting not linoleum. What is it? Like the plank,
Plank, yeah.
Yeah. What's it called?
It's
Like
laminate.
Yeah, laminate. There you go. So you're putting like the laminate floors. You're putting refurbished refrigerators and stoves. You're not putting brand new stuff in there. So if you're finding nice things, but they're refurbished, you can find a refurbished company that basically comes out and fits it for it. You always make sure you have an electrician and a plumber on call at all times. They have access to it. But just remember that you're never going to live there. So you do the best you can to make it look at as best you can. But that most money I ever made was from my duplexes because I bought them for like $60,000 and I bought another one for $92,000 within 3 years, turned around and sold them for a little over $250,000, $300,000, and all I did was just slightly fix it up, sanded the floors, redid them, took the plastic tub out, put a new plastic tub in, and just kind of put the plastic walling. Yeah, lipstick on a pig kind of thing. But they walked in going, wow, this is a lot nicer than anything I've ever had. And the rents before I had bought it were $650. I upped them to $950 and $1,100 based on the size of the unit and was making profit. And so on top of that, like paid it cash, made the profit, came in. just remember, you need to have someone, a landlord that you can trust. That's one. Two is they already have the connections of low income housing. They understand, like, look, I want it to be fixed. I want it to be fixed the right way, but I also don't want to get gouged to come in and fix the toilet. I don't want it to be to put a wax seal on it. I don't want it to be $600 when I know you can do it for $150 or $200. It takes you 5 minutes. So having those kind of connections with a good property manager is very important. So we had a really good one in Fresno, which we met through Dwayne, the Zinkins and stuff. So they got us connected. I mean, but those are things that I wish I went back. You know, you see the hindsight's 50-50. And so I wish you thought about it for a second, didn't you?
What?
It's hindsight's 20/20. I would just say it's 50-50.
You know, Josh always butchers.
I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to say anything.
You were still thinking about it. Is it really 50-50?
No, it
Is it really 50-50?
No, it wasn't. I just didn't choose violence this morning.
But you know, when you've done it already, that's one thing I wish I could have went back and be like, you know what, just bought more of the duplexes. Because at that time, that was in the 2008 crash. And so if I could have bought, I could have actually, and I didn't. I should have bought 6 or 7 of them because everyone was getting out of them for cash. Yeah. 54,000, 52,000. And it was like one that I really wish we would have bought it was next to the railroad tracks. And she's like, oh, I don't want, like, if they have kids, I'm like, then we just don't rent to people with kids. Yeah. She's like, well, it could be dangerous. I don't care. People live here now. They're already renting. Like, they know what they're getting themselves into if they buy something or rent somewhere next to a train track, they know. Yeah. And so I go, that's not the point. So there's a lot of things we didn't buy because I don't know, it doesn't look, or it's going to be this. But if I could go back, I'd buy more of those.
When you find those hot spots, you got to jump all over.
Yeah, you got it.
I did it. I was up in Steamboat Springs in Colorado. I was at the hot springs, and some guy was up there, and he was like, yeah, you get into real estate, and because we started talking about real estate, he said, you should check down Trinidad, Colorado. And I was like,
Bobby,
I don't even know where Trinidad, Colorado is. All right, just bleep that part out. But when he said it, I was like, okay. And then I was dating this girl at the time, and she said she wanted to get into real estate. And then I was like, yeah, this guy was telling me about that. He made a lot of money up in Steamboat. When he bought something in Steamboat, property value went up, and this major developer moved down there and started doing work. So I pulled up Zillow, and there was probably 100 houses in there under $100,000. And at that point, red flag. You don't want to because there's too much inventory. Yeah. So I was like, you don't want to do that. I was like, nah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So I just left it alone. A month later, we were talking about it again. We said, let's start searching some areas. And I said, no, he said, Trinidad. So let's go look back over there. We looked over there. All of those houses were gone. Yep. All of them. And I was like, and then there was one house on the market, and I was like, oh no, we need to go down there. So I drove down there. I put it under contract, sat on the seat, called an agent. I was like, I want this house, whatever, just get it. We went down there, and when we took the tour of that house, it creeped me out so much. I walked into this house, and I was like, it says there's a basement somewhere around there. We were looking for the basement, and right in front of the master bedroom, there was a rug there. And when we moved the rug, there was like a door. And then we opened up the door,
chain link,
and I was like, I don't want to go down there. And then I walked down there, and it wasn't finished. It was like dirt. And
Bobby was scared.
I was frightened, like the hair on my arm stood up, and it was like dirt, and then it was like dug out all the way like that, and then there was an opening at the end, and there was a bed at the in that opening there. So the only way you would have you would have had to crawl to get over there, and then there was like an open spot, but it was underground, so there was like dirt. And I was like, why is there a bed? I was like, all right, I'm out of here.
You got that girl from the ring crawling out of the bed, coming towards you.
I said, I'm out of here, out of here. But then when afterwards we started looking at the city and the history behind the city, they were doing like what was it, like moonshine. They were doing like Al Capone was there. The city had a lot of
history.
There was a tremendous amount of history. So I ended up starting buying houses there, and I was buying houses for $50,000, and I bought 6 houses down there. I still have 4 of them right now, and after renovating them, all of them I had them from under $100,000. All of them are worth in the mid 200s, like 250, something like that. So I took out a mortgage on them. So I took out like one of the houses I bought for 70. I put 20 into it, so I own it for 90. I went to go and check the value of the house. It was 280. So I took out like 50% of the loan. So I took out not a little less than 50%. I took out 112. So I got 112 back. So I got 22,000 more than what I put into it. mortgaged it. It's worth 260, and I rent it out. My payments are like $1,000 a month, and I get 1,300. So basically, I got a house, $26,000 more than what I put into it back, and I get $300 a month. So I'm like, I'm never getting rid of that thing, and it just keeps going up.
Like this all makes sense, right? Real estate makes sense. I think everything we're talking about, like the principles of investing in real estate, your personal experiences. You know, I have a few that share a lot of the same qualities of like, hey, this is how you find a way to make money in this game. It all makes sense, right? So I think real estate is like one of those things that I understand. You find an emerging market, get a property, you know, try to be ahead if you can. Like it all makes sense. And then there's this world of crypto that.
I'm in.
I get it, but I don't get it, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously Bitcoin, blockchain, the ledger, like I've studied, I've read, I've watched, you know, educational videos. There's still something about it and then all these meme coins and all this, now we're heading into a world that doesn't always make sense.
It reminds me of the .com. It wasn't backed by anything. You know, and everyone's like, oh, it is backed. It's backed by the people who are investing in it. I mean, what if those are the people what if that's like BlackRock that's putting a ton of money into something and all of a sudden pulls the rug out from underneath it? You're all just left standing there going, this thing's not worth anything anymore.
And
that can happen.
Here's how I look at it.
So you're in,
Like,
right, Bobby?
I'm
You're
way in.
what do you got? A lot of Bitcoin?
I have a lot of XRP. I made $280,000 with XRP last month.
XRP's been around though, right?
Yeah. Well, here's how I look at it. Because when people talk about it, like people will completely depend on the banks. No matter what, they don't care. They'll put their money in there and the bank will give you a digital readout that says I have this amount of money in it. And people are like, that's it because I trust in these guys. Why?
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Why? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing as say for example, let's I don't want to get canceled or whatever like that. Say there was
don't
that's
worry.
over. It's
It's gone.
2025.
Don't worry,
That's gone.
Bobby. Speak
That's
freely.
over now.
Yeah,
Speak freely.
we're not doing that anymore.
That's gone.
Say there was no banks, right? And then you have a certain amount of money that belongs to you. What if you just had that digital amount there? Say I owe Josh $20. Hey Josh, click here. Now you have that $20. That's all it is. That's what it is. It's with the exception of these people. Because when I went over there, I had to go send a wire. And the guy sent across to me was like, yeah, this is $40 to send the wire. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's my money sending it over there. What are you talking about? Why am I paying you $40? And then he was like, well, I can put you into this account right here, but this account is $75 a month. For what?
No.
And then I went and bought my car, and then I was like, and then they were searching through for somebody to give me a loan for my car, and then I ended up finding out it was my bank, and I was like, what? So it was my bank is basically loaning me my money
Yes.
for there and then paying it. So at the end of the day, it doesn't make any damn sense. As opposed to we have our own money. That's all crypto is. It's like you have your own digital amount, and that's how much you get paid. So if I get paid from AEW, they put it into my digital amount.
Yeah.
If you want to call it dollar, you can call it whatever you want to. You can call it Bitcoin, dollar, yen. I don't care whatever you want to call it. It's an amount that you have. So it's just an exchange of amounts. That's all it is. So everybody's like, well, what is it backed by? What is your money in the bank backed by?
It's not backed by anything, but it also has insurance on it up to a certain amount.
To $250,000.
I understand what you're saying.
And
but
some
I'm
banks
saying,
shut down, and if they shut down, there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't insured 250 by who?
Yeah.
If that bank goes
the
bankrupt, where are you going
FDIC,
to get the
right,
money
every-
from? You're not going to get it. So it to me it makes all the sense. Like I got into crypto a long time ago, and I've seen the waves of like this doesn't make any sense, but this makes sense, but this doesn't make any sense, and it makes sense. And then that's all it is trying to find the validity behind it because so many people don't want it to happen, but those people that didn't want it to happen before are the people that are jumping into it now. And then now it's like, okay, well, I can understand because there's going to be a drastic change of wealth when people start getting into it. And the way that I look at it right now, if you talk to the masses of how many people have crypto, so even our percentage here, even though there's only a short amount of us, 50% of us, because Peter does, I do, you
I have a
don't,
little
right?
bit.
No, I don't.
You got
I have a little bit.
a little tiny bit. So
Little
if you
play
go
money
over
in there.
everybody, then everybody, there's such a small amount, but there's trillions of dollars in it. So if you get into it right now, say 50% of the population gets into it, then what's the value of Bitcoin going to be? Astronomical. Because right now we're at like a single digits amount of people in this world.
And
a
it's-
single digit
and it hit 100
percentage.
grand. I know it dipped yesterday with the whole market, but
I think everyone's just kind of concerned that like a government can just come in and create their own crypto and basically take out all the other cryptos that are there. That's I think what the concern is. Like, hey, if the U.S. creates
make that the standard,
yeah, make
right?
that the standard, and now you're going, okay, I have all this money in XRP, I got all this money in Bitcoin, but now the U.S. government has come in and created their own crypto. Now that's the standard, like the U.S.
They just
dollar.
did that. The Trump,
They did it. They did it. It's called the dollar. They've already
but I'm
said
saying-
crypto.
No, but I'm saying,
they're
though,
not going to
this-
do another dollar.
No, but I'm saying they're going to exchange out that dollar now and call it a crypto dollar, like basically like a crypto.
What I believe is, and what Trump did is he put it under Solana. So Solana's value went up because of it. It's under one of them. It has to be under one of them. Bitcoin's going to be probably the one that it stays under, but XRP has a functionality. It's just the ability to transfer money quick. How I think it's going to get big, and this is why I think it's going to get big, is so many investors want to invest in things that they don't have to pay capital gains taxes, and that's what Trump said. He said I'm going to eliminate capital gains taxes from crypto. What happens when he does that? All these whales that have all this money into crypto, they're going to be, oh, we can actually take it out. So boom, it floods the market. Now we have all this in, and all the investors are like, what? I can put money in crypto and it can go up. Whoo, all that money goes in. Whoo, the value goes up. So I just think,
Do it
throw
again
some money
with
in
the
there.
sound effect.
Yeah,
Do it again.
I love
Make sure we put that on the
That-
video.
yeah, no, it's-
magnifies the effect.
He's
because
gonna
I
go-
need people to invest in some
No,
of these.
that Bobby is doing a great job of dadsplaining this stuff. So,
that's the sound of when your money leaves. God.
Yeah.
dadsplaining, right? Bobby's killing it
Yeah.
right now. So earlier, I remember when I said, as far as real estate, man, I feel like we're too late. Like if you're trying to invest in Frisco, it's too late, right?
Yeah.
It's gone up. Tell me why it's not too late for Bitcoin or XRP, because Bitcoin's at 100.
But the
100
amount,
grand
but the
right
amount of people, like I just said, the amount of people, like ask
It's still in
around
the
the people that are
infant
in it.
stages.
It's in the very, very infant. Like if you go with the percentage of people just in the U.S. alone that have crypto, you're going to have like one of every 10 people, maybe 20 people that you talk to that says, oh yeah, I got a little bit here. Now, if it has more validity and people say, okay, I can buy from Amazon, I can buy from the grocery store, I can buy this, and then they start putting money into it. Now, what if 20% of the population starts buying into crypto? That in itself is going to it's just a stock market. More money comes in, the value goes up.
Okay. So it's really simple. We tend to overthink it perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just
So-
me.
No,
but-
we do. We do. I mean, because like honestly, like for me, every dollar I ever made, I got punched in the face for. So I'm not willing to just throw it into something I don't quite understand. So for me, right, I'm in Amazon, I'm in Tesla. You know, we have a little bit of Apple. Like those are things that we're in because they're tangible. I can see it. I see they're making products. I know exactly about it. I know about it. Like I know when a new car comes out, this whatever it is, there's something there. My son's got a little Nerf too. But it's like those are things that are tangible to us. The crypto thing is a little weird to me. No different than AI. Chat GDP was like the one, right? Now all of a sudden there's this DeepSeek
the
from
Chinese
the
version.
Chinese version of it, and everyone's going, "Oh shit!" Like
it
now
crushed
what?
the market. It,
It
crushed
did.
in Nvidia's.
Nvidia's
They lost like billions,
yep,
hundreds of billions.
600 billion.
Yeah,
They
yesterday
lost
they're
600 billion yesterday.
Well,
Nvidia did.
That's why I think it's just about investing. And I think right now with crypto, there's going to be more things to jump on, but there's a standard of crypto, and there's different chains.
What's the other one? There's XRP and there's another one.
There's Ethereum,
Yes,
there's
yeah.
Solana,
But isn't that that's the
and
hosting,
there's
right?
Bitcoin.
Ethereum is the hosting.
Yeah, it's
for-
kind of like you have the Ethereum chain, you have the Solana chain, you have Bitcoin is just the staple, and a lot of people that are very conservative, they just say put into Bitcoin. But everybody looked at it, they're like, well, Bitcoin's $100,000. You can put $1 in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but
People, I think that's where people get. honestly,
You don't have to buy
until
a full
about 10 years.
Bitcoin,
Yeah,
right?
until about 10 years ago, I thought I had to buy a full Bitcoin to even get into
Yeah.
it. You don't. You can just. So I have people that literally like I put $1,500 in, and then my next paycheck I put $600 in.
Yeah.
And they just keep adding up, and they keep adding
You're
up.
like a what do they call that? DOS collar.
Yeah.
Dollar cost
Yeah,
average.
dollar cost averaging. Yeah,
So-
where you just every month put a little bit.
Put a little extra, and then eventually you'll get up to owning one full Bitcoin.
Yeah, this guy came through, and when I had this convention, I went and talked to this guy, and it was like, this guy's a Bitcoin billionaire. And I was like, billionaire? All right. So I went over there and I was like, I showed him my crypto. I was like, hey, man, like, let's talk about crypto because I'm into crypto. So I have coins here and there. And he goes, looks at all my stuff, and he goes, well, there's only 3 of them that actually have a utility behind it. And he said, you don't have XRP. And I was like, yeah, I had it before, but I saw it go up and down, and then the SEC went after it and shut it down in the United States, and everybody went back. And I was like, that's actually a good thing. If the SEC is going after it, it's showing that it's actually something, because it's not going to go after like a Dogecoin that really isn't anything. It's going to go after things that it's going to say, no, that should be an actual security. So it's saying, oh, I'm giving you some validity behind it. That's just that's what it is. Okay, so it got taken off, but then it beat it, and it stayed on. This guy was like, and he was really calm with it. He goes, yeah, he should sell your house, sell your car, sell your dog. If you're married, sell your
All
wife,
in, right? One of
sell
the-
everything and put
He's
all
all
of it
in.
into it. So I was like, damn, I don't want to do this. But so I was like, all right, I'm going to put in $10,000. And then I was like, man, this guy, I want to believe him. I put 10, 15, 20.
No, man.
And then I went in and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a big investment in. So I put 50,000 in. Put 50,000 in.
How much did you put into the Haktua coin?
Haktua.
Nah, I ain't touching that girl.
Haktua.
But I put 50 in. And,
But that's the scam,
and
right?
that
Yeah,
that's
that's
what's
the
scaring people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some that, like he said, it actually has a utility behind it. So there's something behind it, and that 50 grand is now worth 300 and something now.
Damn, Bobby.
Yeah.
And I paid for dinner the other night. And he's got all these properties and this Bitcoin.
You hate me more, don't you? You really will hate me.
This guy.
Well, like for me,
He
like
never told us this. We have to like.
Yes, I
turn
did.
on all the
Me and
cameras.
Peter were talking.
No.
Me and Peter were talking about it here.
do not
been
bring
hiding.
Peter
Yes,
into your mess.
yes.
All right,
Oh,
don't bring
Bobby.
Peter into
Peter
your
begged
mess.
too.
Where was this when the cameras were off and we're all
Yeah.
just hanging out,
Yeah,
the boys?
Nope.
But let me ask you this: do you pull equity out of your houses and put them into like the market or put them into other investments? You leave the equity in all your houses.
I don't pull money out of anything.
Because I've
So
got
you're
ton.
long term. You're
Yeah.
The only reason I do it
Long
is
play.
because, like, right now that I'm working, I don't like. Everybody says leverage, off the banks, and I just don't like a lot of my houses.
I'm super nervous. I wouldn't. I don't want to do that. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I'm not gonna do it. I'm simply saying like I have people that I know. They're like, yeah. Once my house, I bought. Let's say you bought your house for 500, and now it's worth 1.2. They're like, I'll pull out 300,000 and I'll put that into the stock market. And I'm like, what happens if OA happens? He's like, well, my mortgage is still gonna be there. I just keep paying my mortgage because I had friends during the 08 crash. Their house they bought it for like 1.3. Then when the 08 happened, it dropped their house down to like 500, 600.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, man, I'm paying a mortgage and I can't get refinanced because I'm upside down on the house. They're like, but who do we care? We're in a good school district. We're going to live here forever. We're going to live here until
if
the
you're
kids get out of
living
school.
there, you're good. The problem was these guys were getting money to buy 3 other houses
Yes.
as investments, and
Yeah.
that's what they
You-
couldn't
you know,
hold on
so-
to.
You know what I heard is like now, and it's crazy to even think this, but they're saying it's better to, like, the investment people are saying it's better to rent than even buy.
Yeah.
It's just funny. I just had this conversation with my wife yesterday. I said, like, we could rent the house I'm in right now for probably a couple $1,000s more than what my mortgage is. And then I could turn around and actually rent a nicer house than the one I'm in for the same price that I'm getting
you're paying.
paid for. And you'll get a bigger house and you're not on the hook for any of the maintenance.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way it's going
Like right now, I'm dealing with this damn leak in my pool, and it's like I'm draining the pool. It's going to cost a buttload. And I was thinking, I was like, man, you know what? I'm paying a lot because I got it when the interest rates were up. So
Yeah.
my interest rate's like damn near 7% on a house. It sucks. And then I was like, and then on top of it, because I moved so quick from Colorado, I had to put a big down payment. I put like almost $500,000 down on the damn
me
house.
too.
So I was like, why not just pull that money out, sell my house? My house went up a little bit, pull it out and go rent.
Yeah.
Even if I rent for $10,000 a month, you know what? It's still less than what I'm paying now. I don't have to deal with any of the maintenance on anything. And then I can just,
If
and
I
then
was-
when my kids are gone, I
Yeah.
can downsize or move on to something else.
We saw. I just out of curiosity, as I looked around at houses that I could, because we rented this house for a year before we moved into it. I know what we got for it. I could turn around and I saw some of the houses for rent now. It would be almost double the size of this house for rent, and I'm not responsible for anything.
Yeah.
The pool, the main. I'm like, but then it feels like you're not living the American dream. You buy a house, live in it. But to be honest, it relieves a lot of your stress. You're
Yes.
still a landlord here.
Yeah.
You're still a landlord here, but I'm actually renting for similar, if not a little bit cheaper, and I'm getting a bigger house with no maintenance on it. I just got to take care of the one that I'm in, and I have a little extra cat. It's so strange to me.
And
It
the
is.
taxes and everything else.
Because I know what I can rent this house for.
Yeah.
Like my other one, I mean, like I said, they paid up front for 2 years, but it's like that's been low maintenance. But otherwise, I would like to run that one into a 1031 exchange, into a recession proof like duplex or condos, two or three condos or a triplex or something. But
It is.
I don't know.
You said it best. It's like you're running away from the American dream. Like,
Yeah.
I don't own my house. It's like, you don't own your house. You still don't.
no,
own your
you don't
house.
own it. And that,
Yeah,
I guess
that's
once we
true.
get that through our heads, like if we were to die and we don't have this into a trust for our kids, or whatever, like they go through probate, the government decides on what they take, the death tax, whatever that is. Like they're taking your kids. Can they afford to keep it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Well-
And so do you really?
Well, like you guys said, the banks and the government own
Yeah,
it, right?
the banks and the government
Because even
own
if
it.
your house is paid off and the bank no longer owns it, you're still paying property tax.
Yep.
Sure.
Try not paying that for a little bit. See what happens. See who
Especially
owns
here.
your house.
Especially here.
And,
So
and it's the same way. Like if you have a house and you're renting it, like how we were talking about with commercial property, if you go through somebody and want to rent their house and say, "Hey, I want to rent your house for 4 years," they'd be like, "Of course,
Yeah.
yeah." They'll love that. Shoot,
Yeah.
for me, if I get, because I'm renting most of my houses year to year, and then at the end of every year, it's like, "Oh man, they're about to. Are they going to leave?"
I hate that.
If they're going to
feeling.
leave.
That's what
then
I have
might
with my
not-
renters in my places. The one in California and the one here.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, are they going to leave? Like, I got to go through this whole search again.
Yeah,
and then
that
and then
sucks.
our property managers they charge you a search fee. You
Yep.
know, so it's like another $1,200 just to find somebody. They get them put in their placement fee or whatever. It's like, man, it's like they're nickel and diming you for every little
Sure.
bit.
And if you rent it and you go to somebody and say, "Hey, I'm going to rent your house for 3 years," they'd be like,
Yeah.
3 years, jackpot,
Yeah.
done."
Yeah.
And they're good with it. So it might be I get what they're saying, but it's like the same thing. Like I'm like, man, but I don't own anything. But I have all these other rental properties that I own. And my kids are cool because my kids know about houses. Like my kids went around with me to all the houses that I bought. They know about my son can go in a house and he'd be like, "All right, yeah, it's probably going to cost this amount to paint this. We got to get this done." He's looking at baseboards. He'll break it all down. Like my kids know houses like that. So for me to say, if I told my kids today, "Hey guys, let's go and move and let's go rent," they'd be like, "Oh, that's a smart deal. Let's go find something." My son will have like 5 houses to me in like 10 minutes. He'd be like, "What about
At
this
that
one,
age-
this one, this one, this one, this
At
one?"
that age, I think it'd be fun to just experiment with the fact that, like, hey, we're all going to pack up our stuff and we're going to move. I want to teach my kids how to live like a minimalist life. We don't need all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I walked into their playroom the other day. I was like, like the more toys you have, the less they actually play.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing this. I'm like, man, we don't need any of this. You haven't touched this trampoline, that Pac-Man game we have in there, the arcade, the pinball, all that stuff. You haven't touched it in months, maybe even a year.
I just
We don't
got-
need all these things, you know.
I
And at
just got
that
an
age,
arcade.
they start to appreciate. Like my son's got a nice fiberglass lacrosse stick. He carries that thing around the house. He plays with that thing, obviously, because he plays. But I'm simply
Yeah.
saying, like that and his soccer ball are at his feet all the time. And we've got him you guys saw the rebounder when you first walked
Yeah.
in. It's
Yeah.
by the front door. We bought him a goal. He's got a goal in the backyard now. It's like, I mean, that's pretty much how he spends his life. We got a ball now. There's a tracking ball where it tracks how many reps he does on the rebounder, and it's connected to his iPad.
awesome.
So he did like 4,000 reps in 4 days. So 1,000 reps a day, just one hand, left hand, this type of stuff. So, anyways,
Less
I think
toys.
less
Put
toys.
that into Bitcoin
Yes, yeah, it's true.
or XRP.
Just, I mean, dollar cost average. If nothing
Yeah.
else, how I tell people, don't go empty your bank accounts to put it in there. Just put $10 in every other week.
What
or
it
something
is
like
is
that.
a lot of sponsors too are now offering to pay in Bitcoin. So I do with my other podcast with Weighing In is BetUS is a great company. We've been working with them for a couple of years now, and they ask this every time: "Will you guys want to take this in Bitcoin, or do you want to take it in crypto?" They say any crypto you want, we'll just take your half of it or whatever, and we'll put it into crypto.
Josh,
for
I
you.
told you Bobby knew some things. Josh is always like, Bobby
The verdict
don't
is
know
still
nothing.
out. If crypto crashes, you're screwed.
No, we look. We haven't even gotten to all the investments because one thing that I just got into was oil and gas. Oil and gas is a big deal. Like I just invested in a couple of units and it's I invested.
We're in Texas. It should be pretty big here.
It's huge. So I invested in this company that's a very big company that when I went to their offices, it was a big high rise. It was like artwork and like it was
Why
really
are you
fancy.
not? Why are you not inviting us?
That's
to
what
these
I'm
things?
talking about. This
bro.
dude
You are
is-
so selfish. You're supposed to be helping us with this. This is.
How come we didn't get invited to the meeting?
I will help you.
Have you heard the magic word at all? Have you heard it?
I will help you.
Please?
I will help you with
Hey,
your.
look at that.
I don't.
What do you need?
I don't speak that
Can you
language.
please invite me, Bobby? Please invite me to your next investor meeting.
Look,
Wow.
there's a guy that I just started working with. I'm going to link you up with, and he's trying to win.
When
he's
you
trying
get that
to
info,
win.
just send it to me, Rich.
He's trying like oil and gas is a whole different animal because the biggest thing for me is the first one I won. It was an 83% write off. So right off the way, I'm winning, and then after that, we're getting paid monthly. So. It seemed like a win-win, and then I started really getting into some different companies that are doing it. One company is a larger company, and they're doing right now. This year, I did 18%, but I got an 83% write-off of the money that I put in. So I got an 18% return. That one is great. Another one that I went in a little bit heftier because it was a smaller company, and that one did 25% this year, and I got 85% write off. And then the one that I just invested in a couple weeks ago, it was a smaller investment, a lot bigger return because what these guys do, they already find stuff that are producing already. It was only a 50% write off, but like his is looking at doing, nobody uses the G word, guarantee, when it goes to investing, but he's looking at doing almost 57% return. So after 20 months, he's looking at having all of your money
but
back.
we're too late, right?
But no, you can still get into it.
Bobby
You can
always
still get
tells
into
us
it.
when it's too
You
late.
can still get into it.
Hey.
And the thing with oil and gas, because the especially down in Texas, some of those big oil tycoons that they're just it's a 20-year payout. So you're making money forever. And of course, at the beginning, you make a lot more, and then it starts trickling down. But you get your money back, and you get a tax return, and then it just keeps trickling into your account forever.
Nice.
So.
Well, hey guys, that's just a little bit of the stuff that we've been doing ourselves, hands on. Obviously, we have a lot to learn. Rich and I both not really in the crypto business. He's got a little bit. I have zero, goose egg. More of mine in the real estate. Him, Mr. Diversified over here, doing his thing. But hopefully, you guys enjoy this conversation, this talk. Hit the subscribe button down below. I want to thank you guys so much for following us, and hopefully, you enjoyed the show. We'll be back. See you next time.